Hello, Tiger. Welcome to Alumni Field. We're not underway yet. Welcome to Alumni Field and the Division III semifinal lacrosse matchup between the Ithaca College Bombers and the Roanoke College Maroons. We're just underway on the campus of Roanoke College in Salem, Virginia. Roanoke has the ball, working it on the offensive end for the Maroons. In the ball game right now, Andy Odenwald, James Kammerman, Don Tracy, J.J. Blatt, Brad Hennigan, and Colin McGarren. Ball's over on the wing to Hennigan, back behind the goal to J.J. Blatt. The Vermont Academy freshman gets it out front to Kammerman. Kammerman trying to swing the ball counterclockwise, looking for an opening, can't find one. Don Tracy, the Terminator, with the ball, looking for a shot, winds up, is slapped, ball's loose, picked up by Hennigan. Hennigan gets it over to Kammerman. Roanoke still on offense. Ball behind the goal to J.J. Blatt. Blatt working on goal, trying to spin in, shot, beats Neely. Stick side. Steve, what about that early offense?
Wow, that's just incredible offensive athleticism demonstrated by J.J. Blatt, just having a one-arm hook shot around the goal. And the goalie for Ithaca, Dale Neely, did not really react because that is such an unorthodox shot coming from Blatt. But that's a big goal for Roanoke, and that looked pretty easy out there for the Maroons.
The Maroons up 1-0, 13:58 left in the first quarter. Roanoke College got to the semifinals by beating Gettysburg College last week. Steve, how did Ithaca get here?
Ithaca with an incredible win over Salisbury, who was the runner-up in the national championship last year, beating them convincingly 21-9 at Salisbury's home court. So a big win for Ithaca, and they come in here playing with a lot of confidence, Bob.
With the ball, Tim Little unattended on defense for the Maroons, takes a shot, stopped by Fleming. Fleming trying to outlet pass is closely guarded by Joel Florsick, the second leading scorer for the Bombers. Florsick knocks the ball out of bounds, but it'll be Roanoke ball moving to our right. The Maroons are in their white jerseys with black shorts trimmed in white. The Bombers moving to our left are in all blue and moving to our left.
Bob, the Bombers will look to Charlie Schulberg for their offensive output today. He's their leading scorer, and he's a junior, so they will look to him.
A penalty was called on the play. It'll be served by Florsick, and Roanoke will be in a man-up situation for 30 seconds. Ball's behind the goal to J.J. Blatt, now out front. Brad Hennigan has the ball for the Maroons at 12 o'clock. Back behind to Blatt, over to Di Benedetto, in for a shot by Hennigan. Bounce shot is wide left. Run out of bounds by Blatt, and Roanoke will retain possession. 1-0 the score early. Steve, what is Roanoke trying to do offensively?
Roanoke's in a 2-3-1 offense, just moving the ball around in their customary freelance offense right now, looking for that high percentage shot.
Hennigan's got it over to Odenwald, into Tracy, has already scored one goal. His shot just wide, run out of bounds by Blatt.
Bob, I talked to J.B. Clark before the game, the assistant coach for Roanoke College in his first year, and he said the keys for Roanoke, 70 shots. They want to really test Dale Neely in the goal for Ithaca.
Looks like they're trying to get it to Tracy early. Odenwald with the ball out front to Hennigan. Shot, bounce in, past Neely, 2-0 early.
Wow, big shot by Hennigan. I don't know, that is a questionable shot. He was about 5 feet inside the box area, so that's a good 25-yard shot, and Dale Neely showing some pregame jitters. We have to talk about him. He went to Roanoke College his freshman year and played here for a year. Things did not work out, and now his travels take him to Ithaca, so being back on this turf here has got to have some edging nerves for him.
Neely back on a familiar playing surface. Was your backup, I understand, Steve, a couple years ago?
Yes, he was. A highly recruited goalie out of New York, played on the Empire State team. They looked for big things from Dale today.
Back to the faceoff circle. Aaron Sims going against Bill Crist. Sims wins the faceoff, is at midfield, moving to our right. Sims still has the ball. He's being guarded double team now. Ball's behind the Bombers' goal, picked up this time by Matt Mayetta. Mayetta gets it over to Neely, back to Mayetta. They're moving across midfield now with the ball. The Bombers have it, looking to start some offense of their own after a 2-goal output. Goals by Don Tracy and another goal by Hennigan. Gets the Maroons up 2-0. The ball in the hands now of Terry Thompson. Thompson looking for an opening right side. Nothing going. He'll take it behind the goal. Terry Thompson is a senior out of Rochester, New York. Thompson still has the ball, being closely guarded by Major White. Thompson moving on goal past White, looking for a shot, can't find one, is in front of the goal now, moving alongside the goal. Nobody's picking him up. Off the helmet of Danny McLean for Roanoke. The ball's now on the ground. We've got a rugby scrum going, picked up by David Gibson. Whistle on the play, pushing. It'll be the Bombers' ball.
Bad play by Roanoke there. They had possession, they had the ball in their midst, they had control of the ball, and then an unnecessary push there gives possession right back to Ithaca.
Ithaca, no offense yet. 2 balls have slipped by Dale Neely of the Bombers, and the Roanoke College Maroons leave 2-0. Is shot quickly by Tim Little on goal. He got by his defender, picked back up, and scored. That's Joel Florsick, the second leading scorer for the Bombers, scores on an unassisted play, picking the ball up and sticking it by Fleming.
Well, Mr. Florsick, being the opportunist that he is, the shot was taken. Craig Fleming made the save, but you can't get all those rebounds. Ball bounces back out on the field. Florsick picks the ball up and just a cannon-like shot past Craig Fleming. Good heads-up play by Florsick.
Florsick on the year was, again, the second leading scorer for the Bombers. He had 25 goals and I think 12 assists. We're back to the face-off circle. 2-1 the score, 11:28 left in the first quarter. And this time it'll be Aaron Sims going against Bill Crist. Sims trying to come out of the pile with the ball. Ball stripped now, and it's Crist ball. Excuse me, he gets it over to Jim Bianchi. Bianchi now being closely guarded by J.J. Blatt. Bianchi gets it over to Little. Little being guarded by Steve Hoffman for the Maroons and strips the ball. Hoffman does a great job picking up where he left off last week.
Absolutely. Steve Hoffman is the playmaker for these Maroons. He's athletic, he's big, he's fast. He'll play offensive and defensive.
Picked up by Sims at midfield, gotten over to Colin McGarren. J.J. Blatt at 12 o'clock looking to start some offense for the Maroons. He's waiting for the Terminator Tracy. Don Tracy, a big steam Charles Barkley lookalike out there. Bounce shot, stopped by Neely. Neely's pass out to Mayetta is wide, picked up by McGarren. No, he can't find the handle. It's at midfield. Players are scrapping for it. Players are pushing for it. Latona finally picks it up on the defensive end for the Maroons and gets it over midfield to McGarren. McGarren will start things up on offense. He's joined by Bart the Z-Man Zimmerman. He's behind the goal, now being guarded by Scott Coleman. Zimmerman gets it back to Don Tracy. The Tracy family contingent is here today rooting on Don Tracy, who traded in his basketball for a lacrosse stick his sophomore year and has had a career year this year, Steve.
Absolutely. Don Tracy at 6'5", I've said all year, and 235 pounds. That's an imposing athlete in any sport, and he's been hard to stop all year, as evidenced by his goal tally. He is just an incredible athlete and really has demonstrated that all year long for these Maroons.
Tracy already has a goal in the game. He's joined by Hennigan on the scoreboard for the Maroons. McGarren gets the ball over to Cameraman. He's behind the goal, being guarded by Darkangelo, David Darkangelo. Cameraman's trying to find some opening out front. No cutters yet. Here we go. Gibson cuts through. Shot by Cameraman, scores.
Great play by Jim Cameraman. Both offensive, Bob, are just going to a one-on-one kind of offense. One man taking the other man to the goal. James Cameraman behind the goal, sweeps right, comes out in front of the cage and just shoots a low, quick bounce shot past Neely. Tough shot by Cameraman, and now Coach Long is going to call a timeout and say, hey guys, let's get the jitters out and let's start playing some ball here. This is the NCAA semifinals.
Let's talk about the Bombers. They had a big emotional win last week against Salisbury State, 21-9. Jeff Long jump-started this program about 4 or 5 years ago, and he's really brought them to a level of prominence, making the tournament last year before bowing out against Salisbury in the first round, 16-10. What does this possible win mean to them?
It means a great deal, especially after last year getting spanked, so to speak, by Salisbury, 16-8. That was their first taste of NCAA playoff experience there. So this year, they really came out with a vengeance. They've done well. They're 14-1, mind you, Bob, so they've really posted a good record. So they're really coming out here today looking to get to the finals after beating Salisbury commandingly 21-9. So it means a great deal to Ithaca to really come out of here victorious.
3-1 the score, 9:50 left in the first quarter. Roanoke just coming off a goal by James Kammerman. Let's make mention of the field conditions today, Steve. They're soggy at best. Both creases have been supplied with extra fill dirt to make it a little bit more manageable for the goalkeepers.
The key factor here, Bob, is the humidity and heat way down south in Roanoke, Virginia. Ithaca is used to that New York climate. I talked to their coach beforehand. He said they have been playing in weather similar to this, and it will not be a factor.
Brad Hennigan in giving Aaron Sims a break for faceoffs. He picks up a winning faceoff, and Roanoke will have the ball. This time it's Andy Odenwald, gets it behind the goal to Mark DiBenedetto. DiBenedetto out to Don Tracy, their go-to guy. Tracy steamrolling towards goal. His shot, low stop by Neely. Neely picks it up, looks for an outlet. He finds Bill Crist. Bill Crist can't find the handle. Whistle on the play.
We got an illegal procedure on Roanoke College. I believe Bart the Z-Man Zimmerman interfered with Dale Neely in his pass. When that goalie's inside that designated crease area, any opposing player cannot touch the goalie. If there's any contact made, it is automatically turned over to the defensive team. So far, Steve, do you think Roanoke is liking the way things are transpiring here? I think absolutely. They're playing well. They're scoring goals. They like the matchups they're getting. I think with a 3-1 lead, obviously Billy Pilot is not going to be pleased. He's going to want to push until that final buzzer sounds. But yeah, Roanoke is pleased right now. They're really pressuring Ithaca and playing Roanoke lacrosse. Dale Neely with a long pass, finally caught on offense by Terry Thompson. Terry Thompson, a small 5'8" size player, trying to work some offense for the Bombers. He gets it behind the goal to their leading scorer, Charlie Scholberg. We haven't called number 3 out yet today, but Scholberg is in there. He's their leading scorer, trying to get something going on offense. Joel Florsek already has their first goal in the game, gets it over to Thompson. Back to Florsek up top for the shot. Bounce shot stopped by Fleming with his stick. That wasn't a body save, Steve. That was a stick save. Craig Fleming is showing some great aggression in that goal, attacking that ball. Steve, Dan Morrison, the All-American, gets a long pass to Caldwell. Bounce shot good. Jerry Caldwell on a pass from Dan Morrison. How many goals have we seen this year that have started from the defensive end for Roanoke? Dan Morrison, the perennial All-American, brings the ball over the midline, hits Caldwell. He's wide open, and he bounces another shot past Ithaca's goalie, Dale Neely. Great play, great save by Fleming from Roanoke. He started that. That whole series started with him. And now, look, Bob, we got a 3-goal advantage by Roanoke. They're up 4-1 early in this first quarter. Roanoke College with a nice 3-goal jump after their opening goal, and they lead with 8:27 left in the first quarter. Aaron Sims back to the face-off circle against Bill Crist. Crist, a sophomore midfielder out of Camillus, New York. That scrum down there is so vital. With this turf so soft and sensitive, it's going to be hard to pick up that ball, but Colin McGarren just did a great job of that. He comes out of the pile with the ball, and his pass over to Odenwald is wide. Odenwald has done a wonderful job this year for the Maroons, giving them some added depth at midfield. He gets the ball over to David Gibson. David Gibson gets it into DiBenedetto. He's being closely guarded by Scott McCall. Back behind the goal to the Z-Man Zimmerman. Bart, 5'6", number 5 in your program, gets it out front to Colin McGarren on top. McGarren with a long pass to Tracy. Tracy's going to do it again. He's their go-to guy, no doubt about it. He runs in there and tramples number 18, Joey Mahoney of the Bombers. We've got a slash on the play. It'll be Roanoke in a man-up situation for a minute. That's what Don Tracy, a player of his caliber, does for you. If he's not going to get the goal, Bob, he's going to draw a penalty. And now Roanoke with the man advantage for up to a minute. 6 men against 5, and they're going to get that high percentage shot against Dale Neely. Dale Neely for Ithaca, although a very sound goalie, is going to have to come up big if Ithaca has any qualms about coming out of this game successful. Stephen, who is their go-to guy in man-up situations? Well, that's the treasure chest about Roanoke College. They've got so many go-to guys. You got Don Tracy. You got Colin McGarren. You got Odenwald. You got Hennigan. They're all good. McGarren back to Hennigan, back to McGarren. Shot low, stopped by Neely. Neely picks it up in the muck, looks for an outlet, finds Scott Coleman. Coleman will look to send it long. He sends it to midfield. This time it's Joey Mahoney. Mahoney gets it over to Scott McCall. McCall in. This time it's
David D'Arcangelo scooting on goal. Pass into Schulberg, stopped by Fleming, but we've got a little bit of a pushing call, it looks like.
Yes, but what a great save by Craig Fleming. A one-on-one save. He turned that shot away, had to come from the right side of the goal to the left, and all in that same motion, make a great stop. Craig Fleming is really coming up big early.
Both teams seem to like the fast break style of play. Roanoke has had to set up their offense a couple times. When they've done that, they've gone to Don Tracy. The score, 4-1, 7:17 left in the first quarter, and it'll be the Bombers' ball. Bill Crist, the face-off specialist, will start things for the Bombers.
Crist is one of their #1 guys. They're going to look for big things from him today. Bob, Ithaca is starting in a 2-3-1 offense. 2 men out front looking for that high percentage shot.
Their big guns are in there, Florsick and Schulberg, Terry Thompson as well. Behind the goal to Ferry. Ferry was their leading scorer last year. The ball, an errant pass, gets hit out to midfield. Schulberg picks it up. We've got a whistle on the play.
Roanoke committing some jittery kind of penalties there. That pushing call just showing that how anxious they really are, but they cannot afford to keep giving this great Ithaca team the ball, because when you have the ball, you're going to score.
Schulberg with the ball over to Terry Thompson, behind the goal to Florsick. Florsick gets it out to Thompson, back over to Sheehan. Danny Sheehan with the ball over to Thompson, behind the goal now to Ferry, back to Thompson. Ferry shot stopped by Fleming now, picked up this time by Major White. Major White's trying to find an outlet pass, bounce pass to DeSiena for the Maroons. Can't find the handle, out of bounds. It'll be the Bombers' ball.
Bob, we got to talk more about Craig Fleming. He just made 2 circus-like spectacular saves. He made the big save, then another player picked it up, and that's just incredible. He has really been the difference in this game so far.
6:29 left in the first quarter, 4-1 the score. We're going to take a timeout and send it back to the studio.
Too many commercials.
2 more?
4956. That's 563 4956. I'm George of Hanging Rock Golf Course. Championship golf has arrived.
Early.
1500 Red Lane. Golfers can take advantage.
Yep. Fleming's coming up big, though.
Hanging Rock offers versatility to all types of
That's all you need in the playoffs is a hot goalie.
PGA or local amateur competitions. And don't forget to check out the boat
Score when you come back.
equipment and apparel from such brands as Softwood, Mark Scott, Founders Club, Make your way to our full-service grill. Excellent for group and corporate outings. The scoring at Ace at Hanging Rock lies in our customer service. We strive to make your experience at Hanging Rock Golf Club a pleasant one.
Lacrosse is fast becoming the sport of the future in the Roanoke Valley.
Hey, Doug. How are you?
Hey, Doug. How are you? Who did? Oh, Blatt did?
Yeah, Blatt. I said Blatt.
I've been saying Tracy had. Were you going to put that John Daly swing into action today, Doug? Was that the plan?
Get ready.
Jersey. For more information and our free brochure,
52340. That's 703-375-340.
Welcome back to Alumni Field. The score, 4 for the Roanoke College Maroons, 1 for the Ithaca College Bombers, and the play is deep in the Roanoke defensive end. Fleming is sitting on the ball. Actually, now we've got a scrap. Ball's kicked out of bounds. It'll be Ithaca ball. Almost said Gettysburg. After last week's game, Roanoke has come up big in the semifinals here. The first time they've been in the semifinals since when, Steve?
Since 1988. That was the last time Roanoke was in the semifinals, and they experienced a thrashing by Hobart up in New York. So hopefully they'll be under more auspicious circumstances today.
Terry Thompson now with the ball, pushed out of bounds by Caldwell. We've got a whistle on the play. It'll be Roanoke College ball. Tell us about that play. A player pushes another out of bounds.
When the ball is near the out-of-bounds lines, designated all around the field, and the offensive player is going for the ball, a good play by the defensive player is to, when he gets possession, push him out of bounds from the front. He's out of bounds. It goes back over to the defensive side.
Craig Fleming now trying to clear the ball. He'll rush it to midfield. He's going to be guarded by Schulberg. Over to Colin McGarren now. McGarren has the ball. Kind of a trick play there. I thought another player had the ball, and actually
incredible trick play. Craig Fleming was carrying the ball like he had it when actually one of the other players from Roanoke had it and hit it to Colin McGarren. Easy clear for Roanoke.
Tracy looking to take another shot, going inside to Gibson. Gibson takes a little bit of a whiff on it, pops out of his stick into Neely's stick. This time it's Scott McCall going the distance. He's being picked up by no one. McCall's shot gets by Fleming, but it's wide. Picked up behind the goal by Brian Ferry.
We have to keep in mind now, Ithaca has had the ball in their offensive end for the last 2 to 3 minutes, Bob. And when you have that much time, no matter how good your goalie is, you are going to score. Roanoke is giving Ithaca a lot of opportunities right now. Ithaca will capitalize sooner or later because they are a great team.
Ferry will start the ball inbounds from behind the Roanoke College goal. The Ithaca College Bombers are led by Charlie Scholberg. He is in the offensive set right now. He has not seen the ball and taken a shot. He has the ball now, being guarded by All-American Dan Morrison, who really was the big factor in the win last week for the Maroons.
Roanoke College is in a zone defense, rather.
Thompson over to Ferry. Ferry shot off Fleming, and it'll be picked up by Scholberg.
Usually a coach goes to a zone when he feels his goalie is hot, and he'll just let the other team take those high percentage shots.
Crist back over to Scholberg. Stuff shot by Fleming. Nice fake. Up over Fleming for the goal. 4-2 the score. 3:48 left.
That's why Scholberg is the go-to man for these Ithaca Bombers. Showing right there, great fake on Craig Fleming, making the goalie commit, holding the ball, faking low, coming back high. Great textbook lacrosse by Scholberg.
Scholberg gets the Bombers to within 2 now, the score 4-2. Would like to say a special thank you to Bill and Chris Pollock, who have helped Lax Action Productions get going in the year 1992 and become a force for Radio 1480 WTOY in Salem, bringing you all the Maroons action. Back to the face-off circle, Aaron Sims will be going against Bill Crist. We've got Steve Hoffman ready to take the ball away and win another face-off for the Maroons.
The turf is, again, very, very wet from this rain, torrential downpour we've had the last 5 days. So that's going to slow this game down a little bit, but it is drying up now, and I think both teams are starting to get in this game.
And Aaron Sims comes up with it. He'll go on the offensive set. Colin McGarren comes in for Hoffman. J.J. Blatt behind the goal. Correction, J.J. Blatt had the first goal of the game, not Don Tracy. Blatt gets the ball stripped. Ball's on the field, picked up finally by McGarren. McGarren will try and start things himself. He's dashing to goal. No, he'll cut it back. Out in front of the goal, about 12 o'clock now, looking for some cutters. Andy Odenwald, David Gibson, J.J. Blatt, and Mark DiBenedetto will join Colin McGarren. Long pass over across the field to Don Tracy. He's being guarded by Scott McCall. McCall doing a good job on him so far in the game. Tracy, an imposing figure, 6'5", 220 out there. In his final year of lacrosse eligibility, he gets the ball behind the goal to J.J. Blatt. He's being closely guarded by Mahoney. Mahoney on Blatt. Now it's back out front to Odenwald. Odenwald looking for somebody wide. He sees Tracy. Tracy moving to goal, trying to find somebody inside. Finds, I believe that's DiBenedetto for the shot. Nice. Oh, it's Andy Odenwald, I believe.
Don Tracy threads the needle on that feed. He threw it through about 4 or 5, 3 or 4 of those Ithaca defenders. Threads the needle to Odenwald. Odenwald using some great poise there. Bounce shot past Neely. There's nothing Neely could do about that. Great goal by Andy Odenwald. Wow, Roanoke College is playing close to perfect lacrosse today, but we cannot sell Ithaca short. Coach Long will have his troops ready to go. They are a great team.
And the winner of this game plays next Sunday at Franklin Field at the University of Penn. We've got an update on the score between Nazareth and Hobart. Nazareth College 4, Hobart nothing early on. Face-off win again, it's Aaron Sims. It's Brad Hennigan giving Sims a rest, wins the face-off over to Colin McGarren into Cameraman. Cameraman will work on goal now. He's being guarded by Sheehan. Cameraman over to Blatt, looking for an opening. We've got early action at Alumni Field in Salem, 5-2 the score, first quarter action. Andy Odenwald with the ball back to Hennigan. Very patient on offense are the Maroons, looking for the best opportunity.
Yes, that shows how great they are. They can go to the fast break, circus-like offense to the methodical, cerebral offense as they're showing right now, Bob.
Colin McGarren behind the Bombers' goal, now over to Hennigan behind the goal. They're being real methodical, as you said, Steve. Back out to Odenwald, over to DiBenedetto. DiBenedetto, number 20, out front, over to his sidekick, number 30. That's Andy Odenwald, a short, stumpy player that's done a great job at midfield. Over to Hennigan for the stuff shot by Neely. Very slow moving, but he got in behind the defense and scored past Neely.
It's almost like they lulled the Ithaca defense to sleep and then sprung like a cat and scored right there. That's Hennigan's second goal of the game. These Maroons are really showing some great lacrosse out here, and I see some Ithaca players starting to drop their heads a little bit. They're a little frustrated. Coach Long might want to call a timeout now and rally his troops because Roanoke out to a 6-2 lead. That is a big buffer.
Now let's talk about Jeff Long. He has Virginia roots. He was an assistant at UVA, was an assistant at Washington and Lee before landing the job up at Ithaca as a head coach.
Absolutely, and getting a grassroots of a program going and to this level in only 4 years is a tribute to his coaching prowess. He's just an incredible coach who has really disciplined these boys in the sport of lacrosse and really in life.
Another winning faceoff for the Maroons. It's O'Connor coming up with it. His shot blocked high, and it'll be run out of bounds. It'll be the Bombers' ball coming the other way. They'll try and clear the ball from deep in their defensive zone. The score, 6-2, 1:10 left in the first quarter, and we're at midfield. The ball is stripped, pick up this time by O'Connor. O'Connor will try and find an open player. He gets it over to Don Tracy. Now it's back to Major White, back to Tracy. Behind the goal, Don Tracy with the ball. He's being guarded by McCall.
We have to remember, McCall is only 5'9", 168 pounds out of New York West Genesee, one of the top high school programs in the land. And he is just, how tough he is. He's covering Don Tracy. He is just a great player, McCall, one of the best defenders for this Ithaca squad.
Pilots obviously told those folks to slow it down. Odenwald out front, being real methodical, trying to find the best opportunity. Back to DiBenedetto, now behind the goal, looking for O'Connor. No, it's DiBenedetto doing it himself, spinning, swirling inside, nothing going. Stop, ball's loose on the field. Players are piling up, ball's still up in the air, picked up by Porter Smith. Porter Smith, a small, squirrely freshman with the ball, now trying to get some offense going for the Maroons. He's wheeling around clockwise, over to Odenwald, high shot, just wide. Odenwald takes a nice shot, just high, past Neely's stick. 4 seconds left in the quarter, 6-2 the score.
Incredible play. Mark Manetta is showing some great defensive skills out there. He is their takeaway man for Ithaca. As their assistant John Tillman out of Cornell told me, he is their takeaway man, demonstrating by taking the ball away from DiBenedetto.
That's it. First quarter's over. It's in the history book. Semifinals at Alumni Field in Salem. The score 6-2. We'll be back. 15 minutes on the clock now in second quarter action. The score 6-2. We just gave you the other semifinal game. Hobart is trailing Nazareth College 4-0 early on in that one. Back to the face-off circle, midfield. The ball is won by Steve Hoffman. Roanoke's in deep in the zone. Over to DiBenedetto for the shot. Hoffman to DiBenedetto scores. 7-2 the score.
What have we said all year long? Mark DiBenedetto just getting the icing on the cake from Steve Hoffman. Steve Hoffman, offensively, defensively, it doesn't matter. He can do it all. Demonstrating right there, wins the face-off, big ground ball, feeds Mark DiBenedetto for the goal. This is just turning into a really big game for Roanoke College. They're playing it by the numbers, but Ithaca's having some trouble.
And Hoffman is really coming up big. We talk about Dan Morrison on defense, but Hoffman is strategically placed at the face-off mark to win face-offs. That's what he did. He got it in early to DiBenedetto for the score. 7-2 early in the second quarter. Roanoke College is picking up where they left off in the first quarter. Aaron Sims is really taking it to Crist in the face-off circle as he wins another one. What does that mean in terms of strategy, winning so many face-offs, Steve?
Both coaches said before the game, the key to this is going to be possession. When you win face-offs, you got possession. Right now, Roanoke College has the hand up on Ithaca as far as possession. To Aaron Sims in the face-off circle.
Hennigan gets it over to Odenwald. Odenwald behind the goal, being closely guarded by Coleman. Odenwald now over to Gibson, gets it over to DiBenedetto. DiBenedetto looking for an opening. They're really slowing it down, just kind of weaving back and forth, passing the ball behind the Bombers' goal, Steve. What does this strategy mean for Roanoke?
Coach Pollock's just trying to be very methodical in this game, slow things down and take it out front and force that high percentage shot. Colin McGarren taking it now.
McGarren low shot beats Neely. A skimmer off the dirt, and Colin McGarren gets on the scoreboard for the Maroons, and it's 8-2, 12:52 left in the second quarter.
Roanoke College is really taking it to Ithaca right now. Dale Neely with some questionable shots there. He's going to have to come up big. When you reach playoff levels, Bob, the goalies have to reach another level. And right now, Dale Neely is not rising to the occasion. Craig Fleming is, as evident in the score, 8-2. Dale Neely really had some trouble for the Ithaca Bombers.
Andy Odenwald, the third faceoff player for the Maroons, going to the depth of the Maroons roster is Bill Pilot. Let's talk about what it says on his license plate out there in the parking lot of the Bass Center.
Well, appropriately enough, Bob, it says finals, and he has had that since last year, and it's been a goal of his, something he's been focused on for as long as he started coaching, which was 5 years ago. So he has really had his goal and mind set on that, and they're playing today like they're going to give him that.
Another winning faceoff by the Maroons. O'Connor comes up with it, gets the ball behind the Bomber goal to Bart Zimmerman. Errant pass by Zimmerman to Colin McGarren, and it'll be Bombers' ball working out of their defensive zone. They like to throw the long clear. We saw Neely throw a long pass upfield to Scholberg earlier in the game. Let's see if they try that again. Roanoke College, again, beat the Gettysburg College team last week 16-15 to make it to this point, and the Ithaca team really coming off a big win. Salisbury was a heavily favored team last week, and they overcame that. Now they're to this point as a long pass by Neely in. This time it's Joel Florsick picking it up, and they'll start the things on offense. We've got Bianchi with the ball, shot low, off Fleming, picked up this time by Ferry, inside to Scholberg. Scholberg's shot stuffed around, still on the ground. Players are piling up.
Shot was taken, the ball came back out from Craig Fleming after he made that save right in front of the crease, and players just from the offensive team try to push the ball in and get a garbage goal, and the defensive players try to clear them out. So that scrum, the ball was dead and stagnant. Refs alertly make a call, and it will be Roanoke ball.
Roanoke College ball over to Craig Fleming. He'll walk it out. We've got a good crowd on hand at Alumni Field, over 1,000 people in attendance. The score, if you've just joined us, 8-2, second quarter action, 12:42 left in the second quarter. Colin McGarren gets it across midfield. He'll start things for the Maroons. David Gibson out of the North Cross School gets the ball behind the goal to J.J. Blatt, over to Bart Zimmerman. Zimmerman looking for Tracy out front. He finds him off Tracy's stick to Gibson. Gibson picks it up being guarded by Little. Tim Little, a speedy little midfielder for the Bombers, is guarding Gibson behind the net. He'll roll left, trying to stuff one by Neely, nothing going. The players are clearing out for Gibson in this situation. Little's guarding him, doing a good job, fending him off, gets the ball now, Gibson does, out to Colin McGarren out front. McGarren will set things up. McGarren spinning now, looking for a goal, slips on the field, picks the ball back up. It's McGarren with the ball, looking for an opening. He's trying to find a handle on it. He's having a little trouble.
That footing is terrible out there. Colin's slipping all over the field. It's going to be tough footing for both teams.
We're used to the fast-paced action, Steve. When it slows down, it's real tough to get adjusted to it. Tracy with the ball now. Ball's on the turf. Both players are going for it. Dave Darkangelo gets it over to Neely for a long outlet pass to Tim Little. Little will pick it up, move across midfield for the Bombers. Over to Terry Thompson. Thompson's got it, looking for a player. He's finds Ferry behind the net. Brian Ferry with the ball, working on Morrison. Ferry trying to spin off Morrison. Morrison will have none of that. He looks for an outlet now. Thompson has Scholberg behind the net. Scholberg will serve as a pick. They switch on it. Picked up by Scholberg's shot. Bad angle, great shot, score for the Bombers. Nice shot by Scholberg.
Scholberg doing it again. He's got 2 goals on the day for the Ithaca Bombers. They had a nice pick and play behind the goal over to Scholberg, who did not have a good angle in that shot. Craig Fleming maybe a little bit lulled to sleep there. He threaded the needle. Great shot by Scholberg.
Do you think when you go into a slow offensive set that the Maroons have, that it might lull your defense to sleep a little bit as well?
Well, that's been kind of a mirror image, Bob. That's what Roanoke College was doing for the last 5 minutes, is lulling Ithaca to sleep and then taking a high percentage shot. Ithaca responding, doing the same thing.
Back to the faceoff circle, Sims against Crist. This time it's Crist. Crist picks it up, looks for an offensive player to pass to, and finds that's Shantz. Rob Shantz with the ball, a senior attackman out of Jericho, New York. Shantz is being guarded by McLean, another senior defenseman for the Maroons.
We got a flag down, Bob. I believe we're going to have a slashing penalty against Dan McLean. and that is not a good situation for Roanoke to get into.
Bombers still with the ball. This time it's Terry Thompson looking to start some more offense for the Bombers. It's over. Now we've got a ton of flags flying. It's handkerchief city out there.
Absolutely. The refs are really calling this game tight right now, letting the guys play but not giving them too much. I think we're going to have 3 penalties assessed here, 2 penalties assessed here rather. We're going to have a slashing call as the refs talk it over at midfield right now, and we're going to have a holding call, I believe, that will be against Roanoke College. Roanoke College will be 2 men down for up to 30 seconds. It'll be 6 against 4, Bob.
A decided advantage. We've noticed that when the Bombers go into their man-up situation, Scholberg has been their go-to guy. He has 8 man-up goals in his season this year for the Bombers.
Well, it's 6 against 4. Craig Fleming is going to see some high shots, especially from Scholberg. He's their number 1 guy. Ithaca setting up in this circle offense, just looking for a high percentage shot.
It's Terry Thompson, Brian Ferry. Now it's back to Crist out front. Crist will look over. He finds Sheehan. Sheehan gets it over to Scholberg. Back to Sheehan. Over Thompson's. Back to Scholberg. Score past Fleming. Point blank range.
Wow, incredible play. When you're down 2 men, it's 6 players against 4. There's not much you can do. Scholberg seeing the opportunity, taking a great feed from out front, and Craig Fleming had no shot at that one. Great play by Scholberg.
10:13 left in the second quarter. 8-4 the score. Scholberg has a hat trick.
A hat trick, and that's his 3rd goal on the day. Roanoke College needs to silence him, but Scholberg doing some great stuff out there.
Pilot a little unnerved now as the Ithaca College Bombers are climbing back into this slowly but surely. Roanoke may think about picking up the pace on offense if they get an opportunity.
Well, when you're 14-1, your team has a lot to prove out there, and they're a good team. And Coach Long is not going to let his team slide away on this one, as evident by Ithaca slowly but surely climbing back. Only down 4 goals now, Bob. We're getting to a ball game.
This time Chris wins the faceoff. He gets the ball back himself. He's spinning on goal, working on Gibson. His shot just wide. Run out of bounds by Shantz. And it'll be Bombers ball behind the Roanoke goal. A lot of offense in this second quarter now as the Bombers have picked up the action. It'll be Rob Shantz looking for some cutters. He's being guarded by McLean. Shantz looking for an opening. He'll spin on McLean, falls down now, still finds his footing and gets it back out front to Sheehan. Sheehan will be working on Steve Hoffman. He beats Hoffman inside to Scholberg. Scholberg's shot stopped by Fleming. Picked back up, and the putback's no good. Picked now up beside the goal. And an errant pass by Brian Ferry misses the mark, and it'll be Roanoke College ball coming the other way. 9:29 in the second quarter.
Key defensive play right there for Roanoke College, halting Ithaca. They had the momentum going, as evident by that last goal by Scholberg. Roanoke College halts that momentum, makes them force a bad play, and now it will be Roanoke ball.
Roanoke College ball at midfield. It'll be Andy Odenwald putting the ball into play. And again, the score, 8-4, second quarter action. If you're not doing anything today, come on out to Alumni Field in Salem and see the finish of a spectacular semifinal Division III lacrosse matchup. Odenwald with the shot low now on the offense for the Maroons, picked up by Neely. He's smushed by a couple Maroons, and it's now Scott Coleman with the ball trying to clear it. Ball's on the ground, picked up by Bart Zimmerman. He's kind of hitting it out of there, trying to play croquet with it. Nothing going. We got a whistle on the play. It'll be Maroons ball, and that'll bode well for the Maroons, who had a little bit of a tough time keeping a handle on it down there in their offensive zone.
Yes, because of this turf, it's going to be a little sloppier than we're used to seeing lacrosse because of the turf being so slippery. So the possessions are going to change back and forth quite a few times throughout this game.
A familiar name to Ithaca lacrosse, too, is Ray Rostan, who was the coach up at Hampton Sydney, used to coach the Bombers back in '83. Shot now by Cameraman off of Neely, picked back up. This time it's Thompson. Thompson gets a long pass over to Scott McCall. McCall across midfield now, gets it over to Danny Sheehan. Sheehan starts things on offense for the Bombers. He's joined by David D'Arcangelo, Charlie Scholberg, Brian Ferry, and Terry Thompson. The score, 8-4, 8:25 left in the second quarter. Behind the goal now, the Bombers trying to start things going. This time a shot by Sheehan is wide.
Great cut by Sheehan. He was wide open, caught his defender from Roanoke College sleeping. his head was not on a swivel. That defender's head was not on a swivel. He made the cut. Great shot. Just goes awry.
And the Bombers will retain possession beside the Roanoke goal. It'll be Jim Bianchi throwing the ball in. Bianchi's a sophomore midfielder out of Rochester, New York. Heavily favored New York contingent on this Ithaca roster. No question that's a hotbed of lacrosse. Ball's knocked out of bounds now by Hoffman again, and it'll be Roanoke College ball and a nice defensive play as Bombers were trying to pass the ball around.
The Bombers were in a circle offense. They tried to make that pass, thread the needle through the Roanoke defense across cage, and Roanoke knocked the ball down alertly, and when the Ithaca player tried to pick the ball up, alertly checked it away, ball out of bounds, Roanoke ball.
Steve Hoffman looking to send a long pass at midfield now is Andy Odenwald with the ball. He's being guarded by David D'Arcangelo. Odenwald trying to find an opening, passes over to McGeeran beside the Bomber goal. McGeeran gets the ball over to Zimmerman. Zimmerman gets his pass knocked away by Mayetta. And Roanoke will have possession of the ball beside the Bomber goal, and it'll be J.J. Blatt putting the ball into play. 7:43 left in the second quarter, 8-4 the score. If you've just joined us, the Maroons jumped out to an early lead, 3-1, and have added to that. The score's now 8-4. Shot on goal by Odenwald, stopped by Neely. Outlet pass this time to McCall. They're fast breaking it. He's asking for some players to help him out. Over to Little, back to McCall. McCall shot off Fleming's glove, picked up now, being smattered around down there by a couple players is McLean. He eats some dust down there deep, and it'll be a pushing call, I think, on Roanoke College.
Rather, Bob, it'll be offsides against Roanoke College. Billy Pilot is livid at the referees. He believes differently, which is usually coaches and refs don't agree. But it will go back to Ithaca, and they will have, that's a technical foul. They'll have the man advantage for up to 30 seconds, 6 men against 5.
Again, look for them to go to Scholberg in this situation. Charlie Scholberg with 3 goals on the day for the Bombers. Florsick, the second leading scorer, has the other goal.
Roanoke College has been silenced from goals in the last 3 to 4 minutes, so Ithaca doing a fine job defensively.
Ball's over to Terry Thompson. He'll look to pass out front to Crist. Crist back to Thompson. He finds Ferry on the side. Ferry back out to Crist. Crist inside, tried to get it to Scholberg. A little too congested in there.
It gets congested. That's a tribute to Roanoke's defense. Major White alertly seeing that pass going over to Scholberg, jumped in front of the pass, knocking it awry, but going off Major White, the Roanoke player, possession goes back to Ithaca.
You don't have to be a mental giant to figure out they're going to try and get the ball to number 3, Scholberg.
Oh, no. You don't have to have a lot of brain cells to know Scholberg's their go-to man.
Back to Crist out front, over to Ferry. Ferry back out to Crist. Crist will look for the shot over to Scholberg. Scholberg's now at the point. Back to Ferry. Ferry can't find the handle. He's being harassed by DeSiena. Back out front to Crist. Crist inside to Scholberg, stopped by Fleming. Scholberg makes a nice shot on goal, stopped by Craig Fleming. Doing a great job early on in this game is Craig Fleming. We haven't talked enough about him.
He has been the difference in this game, making point blank after point blank save. And now, here it is, Colin McGarren with the ball inside the box area to the right of Ithaca goal. Roanoke on the offense again. Good
transitional action now for the Maroons, trying to add to their 8-goal total. 6:11 left in the second quarter, over to Andy Odenwald. Odenwald gets the ball over to Tracy. He's just into the game. Tracy going right side, stop. Bounce shot, no good, and it'll be Roanoke College ball. Bart Zimmerman did a good job to run that offensive shot out of bounds.
Every time Roanoke makes a substitution call and Don Tracy comes out of the box, he gets the ball and goes automatically to the goal. They feel he's their go-to man, and every time he's coming out of the box, he has gone to the goal to take a shot.
It'll be J.J. Blatt with the ball behind the Bombers' goal, looking for some offensive players to help him out. Gets it over to Zimmerman, over to Odenwald. Odenwald's shot beats Neely on a nice pass from Bart the Z-Man Zimmerman.
Odenwald caught his defender totally sleeping. He was wide open. He was sitting there with nobody around him. He had 5 minutes to make that shot. That's incredible. Andy Odenwald, nothing Dale Neely, the goalie for Ithaca, can do about that one. Roanoke College capitalizing on the mental errors by this Bombers team.
And they went a drought of about 5 minutes without scoring. The Maroons get back on the scoreboard. A nice shot by Odenwald. And we're back to the face-off circle. This time it'll be Hennigan going against Crist. Again, in the second quarter, the Maroons are moving from our right to our left in their white jerseys. Hennigan trying to do as well as Sims has done. It'll not work this time as Crist wins the faceoff. It'll be Bombers' ball now on offense. They'll set things up. Hennigan's guarding Rob Shantz with the ball now. Shantz gets the ball over to Jim Bianchi. His shot just left of the goal, picked up behind the goal by Florsick. Florsick passes inside, and we've got a push on the play.
Dan Morrison, Schwartzik was wide open in front of the cage, got the feed. The only thing Dan Morrison can do to prevent a good high percentage shot was to push him from behind. Good play by Dan Morrison. Just giving the ball back to Ithaca. They will have the 6-on-6 offense.
Brian Ferry will have the ball. He suffered mononucleosis early in the season. He played in the opening game against Ohio Wesleyan and hasn't seen action until last week. He was their leading scorer last year. Brian Ferry sprinting by Morrison. Ferry looking to take it himself. He does. Beats Dan Morrison.
Wow, great heads-up play by Ferry. I tell you, he took Dan. Dan lost some of his footing with Ferry. The great player that he is, a great attackman for Ithaca, drove left, kept his composure. Dan made that trailing check, but could not release the ball from his stick. Just put it by Fleming. Great play by Ferry.
Brian Ferry, a 5'10 sophomore, went to the same high school as Jeff Long. It is interesting. He went to Irondequoit High School out of Rochester, New York, and that's where Jeff Long has found a lot of his talented players.
You always stick with your own, Bob. Bring them from all the areas that you know, and that's how this game, and this is why this game is such a big fraternity.
Ball back to the faceoff circle, picked out of there, but nobody has come up with it. Finally, Brad Hennigan finds the handle for the Maroons. Over to McLean, back to Hoffman now. He's at midfield. Steve Hoffman already has an assist in the game. He's trying to look to get another one, it looks like. Steve Hoffman spinning on goal. His backhanded shot, no good off Neely's helmet. And we've got an in the crease to call, and it'll be the Bombers' ball going the other way.
Steve Hoffman trying to do it all himself again, takes it into the Ithaca defensive end rather, slides into the crease. It will automatically be Ithaca ball. Ithaca setting up in the 3 across clear with the goalie in the center, joined by 2 adjacent defenders.
4:54 left in the second quarter. This time it's Terry Thompson breaking the midfield stripe. He'll be guarded by Major White. Long pass inside now. Picked up by Paul Ramos. Ramos gets the ball back over to Danny Sheehan. Sheehan with the ball guarded by Hoffman. Just called for in the crease, Hoffman. Back over to Florsick behind the goal. Joel Florsick spinning on goal. Ball stripped now. McLean does a nice job to get it back over to Fleming. Fleming's outlet to Caldwell. He'll break the midfield stripe in full stride. Jerry Caldwell doing some mission and mashing, some bibbity-bobbity-boo. Gets it across midfield into the offensive zone for the Maroons. It'll be Odenwald behind the goal, gets it to Aaron Sims. 4:01 left in the second quarter, 9-5 the score. We'd like to thank all our sponsors for helping Lax Action Productions as Porter Smith just into the game. The freshman doing a nice job offensively all year for the Maroons.
Porter showing a lot of poise, only a freshman, 18 years old, coming out in national tournament action, really showing a lot of poise, doing a good job for these Maroons.
Andy Odenwald behind the goal, being guarded by McCall. They're slowing it down. The Maroons have it on offense. Aaron Sims now behind the goal. He's being guarded by Thompson.
Roanoke's in a 2-2-2 offense where 2 men behind the goal are just trading passes back and forth. It's kind of a stall, very methodical way of playing that Coach Pilot is doing right now.
Will the officials let them play in this type of format?
Absolutely, as long as they, absolutely. The clock does not become a factor. Keep it in the box until we get below a minute on the clock.
3:10 left in the second quarter. Porter Smith just kind of strolling through the park behind the Bombers' goal. The other Maroons are set up out front looking to maybe create an opening. Porter Smith jogging around behind the goal. He's done a great job, as we've said. He's one of the freshmen that has really contributed early. He looks like he's going to go to goal now. Nope, pulls it back out, gets it out front to Odenwald. Andy Odenwald, errant pass inside, picked up and given over to Neely for the outlet pass. He gets it over to Scott Coleman. Coleman's pass good to Thompson. Over to Sheehan. Danny Sheehan working on goal now for the Bombers. They're trying to add to their 5 goals in this game. 9-5 the score, 2:20-2:31 left in the second quarter.
We got a whistle. I believe the refs are going to call that it's an offsides against Roanoke College. Coach Pilot is screaming that his player, Bart Zimmerman, was in fact on the proper end of the field, but refs going to see it that way, and it will be Ithaca ball.
We're going to take a timeout in the action. 9-5 the score. 2:31 left in the second quarter.
The people in lacrosse, the seniors in lacrosse, have always tried to promote this sport, and by bringing the Division III championship game and the Division I championship game into one place, it's all a promotional scheme, and it's always good for the game of lacrosse. So they will be played at University of Penn at in the same weekend, and that is just great for this game of lacrosse.
Brian Ferry behind the Roanoke gets the ball out to Schulberg. Back to Schulberg from Crist. Crist has it out front. He's the point man. He finds Terry Thompson back out to Crist. Crist into Schulberg. Schulberg over to Thompson. Over to Crist. Crist back now to Thompson, who's playing the point. Crist is falling back in now. Schulberg takes a rifle shot off the stick of Fleming. Nice stop by Craig Fleming.
Great save by Fleming. I tell you, Schulberg, cannon-like shot. Great save by Fleming. Fast break, Roanoke.
Bibbidi-bobbidi-boo over midfield. Quick outlet pass from Fleming to Caldwell. Gets it behind the Maroon Bombers goal now to Don Tracy. Don Tracy starting things out, looking for a player, looking for a cutter, being harassed in there by McCall. McCall doing a great job defensively. Steals the ball, gets the ground ball, looks for an outlet, finds the outlet, and Mayetta. Mayetta will sprint across midfield with the ball, do it himself. The long stick defenseman, Mayetta with the ball, looking for some offense. Now he'll pull things out. The score, 9-5, just over a minute left in the second quarter. At intermission, we'll talk a little bit about what this Division III championship means to the Maroons.
And that advantage of 4 goals is really shown out there today. Roanoke College up 9-5 is really playing well.
Pass inside, strip now, picked up by Hoffman. Gets a nice flip over to Fleming. Long pass to midfield to Gibson. Gibson will sprint in. He's got a couple players down there, J.J. Blatt being one of them. Blatt picks it up, shot off the pipe. Nice shot by Blatt, but it was no good. Off the pipe and picked up at midfield by Colin McGuerin. They'll set things up on offense and take their time. 39 seconds left in the second quarter. McGuerin, bounce shot over the net, run out of bounds by Tracy. I'm sure they're going to be patient and get a good opportunity here. A little rushed, I think, on the shot by McGuerin.
Ithaca is playing a man-to-man defense right now against the Maroons. Maroons in a 2-3-1 offense. 2 men out front, 3 around the crease area, and 1 behind, spreading out that Ithaca defense as they're doing right now. J.J. Blatt with the ball.
Blatt with the ball, a Vermont Academy graduate, came to the Maroons this year and has done a wonderful job. Kammerman with his shot out front. James Kammerman, lightning quick, low shot, beats Neely. Neely can't be happy with his first half.
Absolutely not. He's got to regroup if they have any hope of winning. Roanoke College is right on course. Coach Bob said before the game, this is the most prolific scoring team in Roanoke history. They're averaging 18 goals a game, and they're right on course for that. They're over that, actually, Bob. They've scored 10 goals in this first half. Dale Neely is going to have to regroup. James Cameron sweeps right and shoots back across the grain and beats Neely to his stick side.
10-5 the score. 26 ticks on the clock to get us to intermission, and Coach Pilot has to be happy with his first half of play.
Obviously, they're out hustling them. Steve Hoffman with another ground ball. They're out hustling them. They're out playing them right now.
Gibson has the ball, sets up for a shot, good! David Gibson slams a shot by Neely with 12 ticks on the clock before intermission. David Gibson traveled all of 8 miles maybe to get to Salem, Virginia from his hometown of Roanoke, where he played lacrosse at the North Cross School. They've since dropped their program, but David Gibson adding a nice shot here to increase the lead for the Maroons to 11-5.
Great shot by Dave Gibson. I believe the goalie for Ithaca is really flustered right now. Great shot by Gibson. He's got one of the hardest shots for this Maroon team. And Gibson is just doing a great job being captain, the leader, and also in his play production.
Roanoke wins the face-off. However, a pass is picked off by the Bombers. Long shot now stopped by Fleming. That'll be it. Intermission. And we'll go to intermission with the score. 11 for the Maroons, 5 for
the Maroons and Lax Action Productions.
We're getting ready to start the second half. Again, the score 11-5, and the Maroons are going to move from our left to our right. And it'll be Aaron Sims, who has done a remarkable job winning faceoffs today against Mr. Crist. And Sims will win another one. Ball's up in the air. Nobody can quite find the handle of it. We're at midfield. Sims is going to block somebody out, picked up by McGarren. He's on the break looking for some help. He finds a bunch of teammates helping as we do an exchange here, and Odenwald comes into the game, as does James Kammerman. Andy Odenwald, Don Tracy, J.J. Blatt, James Kammerman, Brad Hennigan, and Colin McGarren on the offensive tack for the Maroons. J.J. Blatt spinning now beside goal. Blatt trying to find an opening. Shot now, just wide, picked up by Tracy. Tracy will try and put it back in, and he does. Don Tracy sticks one by Neely to start the second half.
Roanoke College picking off right where they left off in the first half. Don Tracy using his size and strength against the smaller Ithaca player. He's to the right of the goal and drives to the front of the goal, turns and shoots. Dale Neely, nothing he can do about that shot. Great shot by Don Tracy.
Don Tracy, a big, imposing, we've called him the Terminator, we've called him a lot of things. He's just a dominating player in the midfield for the Maroons. Aaron Sims now back to the faceoff circle against Crist, 14-17 left in the third quarter. This time it's Brad Hennigan for the Maroons. Ball's at midfield, scooped out now into the Bombers' offensive zone, picked up by Morrison, run out of bounds, and it'll be Bombers' ball.
Alertly, the attacker for Ithaca saw Dan Morrison near, I think that was Brian Ferry, saw Dan Morrison near the out-of-bounds line, alertly pushed him out of bounds. Dan stepped on the line, ball right back to the Bombers.
Jim Bianchi will throw the ball into play. He's being joined on offense by David Darkangelo, Charlie Scholberg, Joel Florsick, Tim Little, and that'll get them going here in the second half for the Bombers as they try and move on offense. Bianchi working on Hoffman, beats Hoffman now, gets into the zone. It'll be Bianchi with a shot off of Fleming's face mask, picked up by Major White. Major White loses it, this time to Florsick. Florsick gets it over to Ferry. Ferry's shot stopped. Ferry has the ball now. Ball's on the ground, being harassed by a couple defensemen. Fleming out of his crease picks it up, looks for an outlet, finds, can't see
Jerry
the number
Caldwell
on it, Major White. Jerry Caldwell with the ball over midfield, being guarded by Little. Jerry Caldwell with the ball now on offense for the Maroons.
Craig Fleming is just having a stellar All-American day today. He has really upped his level of play in the